Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll, found himself in a strange twist of fate. Just when he seemed to be reaching new heights with his spiritual album, How Great Thou Art, everything came crashing down. This album, released in 1967, marked a bold move for Elvis, a return to his roots with a church-inspired sound, something that resonated deeply with him. But beneath the surface, cracks were forming in Elvis's world. For too long, Elvis had been stuck in a cycle of boredom and frustration at Hollywood sessions. He craved something different, something real. That's when he decided to shake things up. He wanted a big church sound for his new album. He was thrilled when Jake Hess, a gospel singer he admired since his youth, joined him along with the Imperials, a gospel group. Elvis expanded his backing singers to 11, forming a full church choir, and brought in a 14-piece band filled with Nashville's finest musicians. It seemed like a fresh start. Felton Jarvis, a new producer, replaced Chet Atkins, who had grown tired of Elvis's late-night habits. Jarvis's arrival brought hope for a new chapter in Elvis's career. The album, titled How Great Thou Art, combined traditional spirituals and hymns, marking a significant shift in Elvis's music style. It was a spiritual journey, one that would earn him a Grammy for Best Sacred Performance in 1967. From the opening track, Run On, a fiery spiritual, to the powerful rendition of How Great Thou Art, Elvis showed a new side, a passionate and playful preacher captivating his audience. But amid this success, Elvis faced pressure to produce hit singles. RCA Records, his label, wanted something commercially viable, and Elvis's usual instincts for choosing songs were no longer reliable. In a bid to reconnect with his rock roots, Elvis turned to his old R&B collection. He revived the song Down in the Alley, a forgotten gem from 1957. Meanwhile, Priscilla, his wife, was enjoying the music of Peter, Paul and Mary, and even Bob Dylan's poignant songs. Elvis recorded Dylan's Tomorrow Is a Long Time, though it remained a hidden gem on a movie soundtrack album. Despite these efforts, Elvis's commercial singles struggled. Love Letters, a revival of a 1940s song, peaked at number 19 in the US, far from the top spots. The music world was changing, and Elvis seemed to be drifting further away from it. A suggested song, Green, Green Grass of Home, initially rejected as too country, later became a hit for Tom Jones, highlighting Elvis's missed opportunity. As the year progressed, Elvis's mood darkened. He returned to the studio to finish his album but was ill, possibly from overmedication. He left guide tracks for Red West, a fellow singer, to finish the work. Though Elvis recovered, his new songs failed to chart, and his best song from the sessions, I'll Remember You, was lost in another soundtrack album. Elvis's career was in freefall. His last movie for Hal Wallis, Easy Come, Easy Go, marked the end of an era. Wallis, tired of the Colonel's demands and dwindling revenues, was distancing himself. Elvis pretended to be glad to part ways but knew he was being pushed out. With no clear direction, he retreated to Palm Springs, blaming the conveyor belt of beach movies for his struggles. In a rare interview, Elvis reflected on his past, recalling a 1954 incident where he, Scotty Moore, and Bill Black were stopped for speeding. A close call with a traffic ticket reminded him of his early days. Yet, despite these moments of reflection, Elvis's path forward remained unclear. He continued to seek spiritual guidance, but hadn't found his place in the ever-changing music landscape. As Elvis grappled with his identity and purpose, one thing remained constant: his love for his hometown and its people. His donations to Memphis charities spoke to his enduring connection to his roots. But the king of rock and roll was searching for more than just a place to belong. He was searching for his true calling in a world that had moved on without him. Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll, had a dream. He wanted a piece of land that felt like the Wild West of old movies. This dream turned into reality when he bought a ranch in the hills of North Mississippi. This place, which he named Circle G Ranch, was a dream come true for him. It was described as picture postcard perfect, with a lake, a barn, and a beautiful house. The land was 160 acres, a small paradise where he could ride horses as he always wanted to. The purchase was a big deal. It cost $450,000, a huge amount of money at the time. Elvis's friend Vernon was upset, thinking it would ruin their finances, but Elvis was determined. He arranged a mortgage to buy it and named it Circle G Ranch, short for Graceland, his beloved home. With his new ranch, Elvis's love for all things Western grew. He bought palominos for himself and Priscilla, his wife, and filled the place with horses. He bought 8 pickup trucks for his friends and even got them house trailers so they could stay on the ranch. It was like stepping into a Western movie. Elvis even went as far as buying extra clothes that matched the cowboy theme, like boots, belts, hats, and chaps. However, this lifestyle came with a price. Elvis's spending was not just on the ranch, but also on extravagant purchases, including prescription drugs. His friend Vernon noticed this and tried to intervene, but Elvis was set on his ways. To make matters worse, Elvis was getting overweight, which affected his ability to film his movies. After a fall at his home, Elvis had to pause filming Clambake due to a concussion. This was when Colonel Tom Parker, Elvis's manager, stepped in. Parker was tough and not afraid to tell Elvis the truth. He visited Elvis at Graceland and was shocked by the state the singer was in. Parker warned Elvis that if he didn't change his ways, he would lose his career and even Graceland. This threatened Elvis because Graceland was more than just a house to him. It was a symbol of his success and a place he promised to his mother. Parker didn't stop there. He also told the staff and friends working closely with Elvis that they needed to monitor him more closely. They had to be with him all the time, even in the bathroom. Parker also ordered all of Elvis's religious books to be removed, limiting his role to just hairdressing. Parker was now in charge, acting like the boss in a business partnership, but with a much tougher approach. Elvis was humiliated by Parker's actions, happening right in front of his wife Priscilla and staff. He was used to being in charge, and now he felt like he was losing control. Parker had shifted from being Elvis's manager to taking on a more dominant role, dictating how things should be done and who should be around Elvis. This change marked a significant shift in Elvis's life, moving from the free-spirited rock star to a more controlled, monitored existence. As Elvis struggled with his new reality, the world outside watched. His excesses, both in spending and lifestyle, were becoming harder to ignore. His fans and critics alike were curious about how the king of rock and roll would navigate this turning point. For Elvis, the real challenge was not just about changing his lifestyle, but also about maintaining his identity amidst all the changes. After Elvis and Priscilla tied the knot, they decided to escape to Palm Springs for their honeymoon. They chose to stay in a trailer at Circle G Ranch, enjoying simple pleasures like picnics and horse riding. It felt almost normal for them, with Priscilla taking on more of the role of a homemaker. However, their peace was short-lived. Not long after returning from their honeymoon, Elvis was back in the studio, working on a new movie called Speedway. In this film, he played a singing stock car driver. Despite being with Priscilla, Elvis still struggled with feelings of inadequacy. He worried about how people would react to him, especially since he was about to become a father. The pressure was mounting, and old habits were hard to shake off. Elvis feared the Beatles more than anything at this time. While he was recording a song called He's Your Uncle, Not Your Dad for his movie, he longed for the kind of success the Beatles were enjoying. The Beatles had just released Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, an album that was changing the music world. Elvis felt the weight of his own struggles in comparison. When it was time to record Guitar Man, a song by Jerry Reed, things didn't go as planned. The original recording didn't capture the energy Elvis wanted. So he called Jerry Reed to come back to the studio. When Reed arrived looking unshaven and wearing his fishing clothes, Elvis was taken aback. But Jerry, known as the Alabama Wild Man, just smiled and got to work. Elvis knew he needed a big hit to boost his flagging music career. The Beatles were dominating the charts, and Elvis felt the pressure to compete. He heard Guitar Man on the radio and thought it had potential, even though it hadn't been a hit yet. To get the sound right, he needed Jerry Reed's unique guitar work. So Elvis went to great lengths to bring Jerry back to the studio. It wasn't easy, as Jerry was enjoying a quiet day fishing, but Elvis was determined. When Jerry finally arrived, Elvis, in his casual attire, joked about how Jerry looked. Jerry, known for his tough image, just laughed it off. In the studio, Elvis wanted to capture the raw energy of Jerry's original performance. He knew that something special could happen if they could recreate that feel. The session was relaxed, with everyone trying to get into the right mindset. Elvis sang with passion, and Jerry's guitar riffs filled the room, just as they had on the first recording. Despite the initial rough appearance of Jerry, the music flowed. The session was a reminder that sometimes, the best moments in music come from unexpected places. When they finished, Elvis knew they had something special. Guitar Man would become one of Elvis's last big hits, a song that would stay with fans long after his life was cut short. With Guitar Man starting to gain traction, Elvis's mind was already racing to his next project. Yet the joy was tinged with sadness. His marriage to Priscilla was a new chapter, full of hope but also challenges. They had moved to the Circle G Ranch, where life felt simpler, but the pressures of fame and Elvis's personal struggles followed him everywhere. As the music industry watched Elvis's career fluctuate, one thing was clear: he was a complex man, driven by both passion and flaws. His journey with Priscilla, his friends, and his music showed that even stars face their own battles. The story of Elvis Presley is not just about the music, but about the man behind it, always striving, always struggling, and always trying to find his place in the world.